Virtual selling and beyond, the tech stack you can't live without. Hi, I'm Alice Heiman, and I am here to share with you some things that you can do to make it easier to sell virtually. And beyond that, virtual selling is going to stay with us for a while, and I think it's actually going to become more normal, more part of what we do. I'm sure that soon, though, we will be able to visit again at trade shows and at customer sites, but we're always going to have virtual as an important part of the way that we sell. So I want to share some things that are going to be most helpful to you. Now, I know that this is the way you might prefer to meet with your customers, live in person at their site, in a conference room or at a trade show, and of course, it's so much more fun. But we can become very good at selling virtually and be able to communicate and help and share and add value virtually as well as in person. Let's talk about what virtual actually means. Simply, it means not in person, as we just said, not in the same room or in proximity, or carried out via computer, email, social media, all of those things are virtual. They are asynchronous communication. In virtual selling, it's important to be good at both asynchronous and synchronous communication. Synchronous would be on the phone live or on a video call live with the people that you are having the conversation with. The asynchronous is when you send a message that is not live at the same time and someone can answer it at their convenience, say through email, social media, or voicemail. So in virtual selling, when we're not in person, we need to become very good at asynchronous and synchronous communication, as you already have been actually, because you've been doing this for a long time. Now, most of us have always sold virtually. I mean, picking up the phone and talking to someone is virtual. And video communication has been around for a long time, and many of you have used it in between your in-person visits or meeting up with people at trade shows. Email, again, that is virtual as well. So you already sell virtually. You already use these tools, and you can continue to do so, maybe a bit more consistently and with more engaging ways. So this seems to be the future of our business. It certainly has been our business for the last year. We're on video calls. And in that, it is so important to make sure that we have good lighting, a pleasant background, and that we look at the camera and talk to the people on the other end of the video. But that's just a really small part of selling virtually. You're going to need some other tools as well. You may already have some of them, or you may need to procure them. Now, if you want help with finding these virtual tools and knowing which are best, there are several companies out there I recommend you take a look at. Vendor Neutral is one, and the other one is Smart Selling Tools with Nancy Nardin. So take a look at those two, and that will be helpful to you in selecting. So let's talk about the tech stack you can't live without. I think you might be surprised. The tools that are needed to sell virtually are tools you are very familiar with. The phone, mail, email, texting, video, and CRM. These are all tools you've had for a long time and you've been using them quite successfully. We can use them even more successfully if we think about always creating a message that matters. A message that matters will engage the person that you want to talk with and make them want to talk with you so that you have a higher response rate. And of course, some other tools you've been using for a long time that help you sell virtually are social media. For business to business selling, LinkedIn is the best, but many of these other channels can be helpful as well. I think that YouTube today can be very helpful because you can put a lot of your content into video for your customers and prospects to watch at their convenience. So, this is the tech stack you can't live without. You need those things to do your job. It's not new to you. They're all things that you've been using, but think about using them differently and creatively. And what I want to talk to you about right now is a tool that you may not have thought of. That tool is resilience. Resilience, it's the ability of a person to adjust to or recover readily from illness, adversity, major life changes, etc. It's buoyancy. So in this case, you are recovering from a pandemic. You're recovering from a year where business was not as usual. And you need that resiliency to adjust. And your systems around you, right? The ability of a system or organization to respond or recover readily. This is what we have to do to sell virtually. We have to be resilient. We have to adjust to the current circumstances that we have to sell in. So think about this. Resiliency is a tool you need to sell virtually, but stress decreases resiliency. And I think that a lot of salespeople and a lot of buyers are under more stress these days. I know the salespeople I talk to tell me they are under more stress, but the buyers I talk to are under more stress too. And I think that we need to recognize that and be prepared to help our buyers be less stressed by making sense of all the information they need to make a good decision, to make a good buying decision. Keep in mind that less resilient people and less resilient salespeople are less likely to make a sale, right? In any case, if you are less resilient, life will be harder. More resilient, and it will be easier. So think about this tool that you can use to be more able to make a sale. Remembering that some pressure is good. We need goals and timelines and expectations to be productive and successful. But too much pressure, it changes our behavior for the worse. It reduces our ability to think clearly and to control our own behavior. So you've got to think about this in the world of virtual selling. You must be resilient, therefore you must reduce your stress. So think about your mindset. Relieve the pressure to change the mindset and increase resilience. What are some things that you can do to relieve the pressure? What are things that you can do to change your mindset, to relieve some of the stress? Of course, eating healthy, exercising, staying hydrated, those are all really important things. But there's many things you can do throughout the day to help yourself. You can take a break, listen to music, take a walk, go outside and walk barefoot in the grass. But pay attention to this. You need to be resilient right now. And if you're not, it's going to be much harder to sell. You need to shift your focus. To sell in the virtual world, this is a very important tool, being able to shift your focus. And right now, to be successful in sales, you have to ensure the customer's success. You must focus on your customer. Now, of course, you're saying, Alice, I've always focused on my customer. I think that is true to some degree, but it's even more so now because your buyer is going along this journey to make a purchase, to solve their problem or challenge or to grow. And they've already done quite a bit of research and looked at your competitors and done some things with their committee. And you're interrupting this process at some point. You're coming in the middle of it. And if you think about focusing on your customer and where they are in their journey, you will be able to help them better. You can meet them where they are and continue the journey with them from there. Now, I love some tools that help you focus on your customer and help map their journey. And one of them is Zoom Info. You can get so much information from Zoom Info, all the data you need about your customer, because today it is so important for you to know what your customers are doing at their business, what their industry is doing. And Zoom Info can help you find it, follow it, and keep track of it. So take a look at Zoom Info as a tool that you need to succeed virtually. Another tool that you need is a way to engage your customer at any stage and send them what they need. You need to have everything at your fingertips. Marketing is making beautiful materials for you and providing information, and sales, you need it in your hands to get to the customer, and then you need to be able to send it to them and know that they have received it and interacted with it. I love the Modus tool for this purpose. So it's another tool that you can use to be successful virtually. Really important with that focus on the customer is understanding what a day in their life is like. Again, you're under pressure as a salesperson. The buyers are under tremendous pressure as well. All this pressure, of course, is coming from the changes and how rapidly they're occurring because of the pandemic. People working from home, trying to decide whether to now go back to the office or not go back to the office, and everyone's trying to learn how to do everything really well virtually. So it was always important to understand a day in the life of your buyer, but now it's even more important. And here is an exercise that you can do on your own to understand your buyer better. Choose a person that you know from a recent sale and write down their name and title. Then starting at the 6 a.m. time frame and ending at the 10 p.m. time frame, write down what you think they do all day. What is their schedule like? They wake up and have breakfast? Do they have kids running around that they have to get off to school or homeschool? Do they have other things? Do they walk their dog? Do they exercise in the morning? Before they come to work, what do they do? When they get to work, what is it like? Are they barraged with email? Are they barraged with Slack messages? Do they have lots of fires to put out? Write down what you think they do all day long, the meetings that they have, the other types of work that they have to do. And write down the demands that they face daily at work. This is a great exercise for you to get into the mind of your buyer and understand what it is like in your buyer's world. And if you have a complex sale, multiply that times 8. Because we know that there are at least 8 buying influences involved in a complex sale, and even more. According to Gartner, it's between 8 and 12. So you have to think about all of those people and what they need and how they're involved in the decision-making process, even if you never, ever get to meet them. Really important to be thinking about all of them, what their life is like, how they're dealing with the stress of today, and what you might be able to do to ease that and make it easier for them to make sense of all the information they need to make a good decision for their business. Let's just take a moment and make sure we're all on the same page about what a complex sale is. When I say complex sale, I mean a sale in which the sales cycle is long, the dollar stakes are high, multiple people are involved in the decision, not just on the buying side, but on the selling side as well. At your own company, you have to get subject matter experts and other people at your company, maybe your VP of sales or some customer success people involved. There are technical or integration complexities. Depending on what you sell, there could be more of those. And there are multiple competitors, and the amount of risk involved has increased. So these are all important things to consider if you are doing a virtual sale. The buying committee has changed, and you really need to focus on that as well. So in a virtual world where we can't meet everybody on their site or at a trade show or at a dinner or gather them all together in a room, we have to be thinking about who is involved and what their role is. In the latest research from Gartner, we know that there is now what they're calling a deputy. The deputy is a person who is overlooking all of these transactions in a way that they have never before. And you've got to identify who that is and make sure that you've addressed that person, if not directly, indirectly, with good information that they need to help their committee make a good decision. So you're going to need a map. Oh, not this kind of map. That's a roadmap. But in sales terms, you're going to need a roadmap that helps the customer. I love Deal Point's roadmap. It makes the sale transparent to all of the people involved in selling and all of the people involved in buying. Another tool that you can't live without in the virtual world. So you can do this on a spreadsheet, of course. And if you'd like a template, I'll be happy to send you one. Just connect with me and ask for that, and I'll send it to you. But you can also use a tool like Deal Point to have it on the internet where both the sellers and the buyers can get to it at any time. Another tool in the same category that I really love is Accord. Again, mutual plans that everyone has access to so that everyone knows what's happening in the sale and what's about to happen next. So those are some other tools that you can use to improve your communication with a virtual sale, or even if you do get to go and meet in person. It's just great to have these tools to keep everything moving and to keep everyone on the same page. So again, if you would like a template, just message me and I'll send that to you. You can message me on LinkedIn and I'll share my contact information at the end. I think that the future of sales is going to be a hybrid future. It's going to be a combination of in-person live and in-person online with synchronous and asynchronous communication. But this Gartner report will give you a lot of information about the transformation of strategies for B2B sales organizations. So please take a look at that. You can just Google the future of sales and Gartner and it will come right up. It's a wonderful report with lots of important information in it. Now, as we started off talking about looking into the camera and using that as a tool to sell, it is a really important tool. And I think most of you are pretty good at using it by now. But we do have to make sure that we know how to use our camera, our mic, be well lit, and be able to engage by looking right into the eyes of the customer through the camera lens. So be sure that you have a setup that is appropriate and comfortable for you when you're doing a video call. Make sure you have good lighting. I love LumeCube. It's a great tool. It's inexpensive. It's easy. You can take it with you anywhere you go. So it's very easy to set up in a different setting and put your LumeCube light on there to make sure you are well lit and your prospects and customers can see you when you talk to them online. The thing that you need to really know is that you are likely to close more deals if you turn your camera on. Now, I know many of you are saying, oh, my customers don't want to be on video. They don't want to talk to me on video. Well, you know what? Offer it to them and send the Zoom link. And if they don't want to turn their camera on, that's up to them. You turn your camera on, because when you do, you will close more deals. So this is very important. Now, another piece of the pie here is email, right? We're sending more and more and more emails. Well, what I want everyone to do is stop sending more emails and start sending better emails using video. Now, there are so many tools out there you can use. I'll tell you about those in a minute. But a video email is so much more engaging than a plain old email. They can see you, they can see your smiling face, they can hear your voice and your enthusiasm and excitement. So please consider using one of these amazing tools to send video emails. All of them share tons of great content about how to make great sales videos for your customers and prospects. I use these in the prospecting process and all the way to the onboarding process and beyond. Whenever I run a training for one of my clients, I send out a video email before the training to engage them and to give them some links. So you can use this at any point in the sales process to be successful selling virtual. It's one of the tools you really need, and I highly encourage you to start using video email. We've talked a lot about the tools you need to be successful in the virtual world. And if you have questions, I'd love for you to get in touch with me. Here's how you can do that. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, let me know that you saw this video. And after you connect on LinkedIn, you can let me know if you'd like that template or any other information about all of the things that I've referred to. Thanks so much for being with me on this journey. It's a pleasure to help everyone out there be more successful in the virtual world and use these tools to help you do that.